Here at Operation Sports, we like to focus on traditional sports games like Madden, FIFA, and The Simpsons Wrestling. But sometimes, sports happen in places where we least expect them to, such as a bubble in Orlando, or a bubble in Toronto, or a bubble in Edmonton. Today, we're going to celebrate the great unexpected sports in gaming history with a list we're calling the top 5 sports in non-sports games. Before we begin, we're only counting real sports in this list, by which I mean sports that currently exist in the world that are physically possible to play. We'll be back in the future with another list detailing the best fake sports in non-sports games, such as chocobo racing, blitzball, or everyone's favorite, the penguin toss. But for now, we're Operation Sports, I'm Matthew Ederer, and these are the top 5 best sports in non-sports games. Number 5. Darts in the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Perhaps it's recency bias to put this one on our list today, as the Final Fantasy VII Remake is by far the newest game on our list, having been released in March of 2020. But many video games over the years have attempted the sport, quote-unquote, of darts, and I don't know if a single one has nailed it quite like this new Final Fantasy VII. First appearing in Chapter 3 of your quest in a small tavern known as Seventh Heaven, FF7's dart game features straightforward controls and a surprisingly nice interface. I mean, for a dartboard. It might seem silly to rank darts this high, but what this sport lacks in things like action, impact, and excitement, it makes up for with things like a lovely soundtrack and sweet Matrix-style close-ups of your darts hitting those triple 20s. Or 17s. Final Fantasy VII's darts game also features a healthy dose of super cool and badass cloud poses. Nothing wrong with that. Number 4. Tennis in Grand Theft Auto V. Much like darts, tennis has traditionally been a tough one for the world of video games. Outside of Mario tennis games, which are all classics, I don't know if we've ever truly done a tennis video game correctly. Has there ever been a 5-star tennis game that didn't also feature Mario? Maybe Tennis World Tour 2 will be that game. In any event, my hat is off to Grand Theft Auto V for putting up a respectable effort at recreating the sport of tennis. Available to the player after unlocking Michael as a character, GTA V Tennis has a surprising amount of depth, with drop shots, topspin, backspin, and the general insanity of Trevor all at the player's disposal. Playing tennis also increases the player's in-game stamina, which is a clever little mechanic I'm sure almost nobody took advantage of. Number 3. Bowling in Tekken. Tekken's first foray into the violent, dog-eat-dog world of bowling was known as Tekken Bowl Tournament, available as a hidden bonus on Tekken Tag Tournament for the PS2. Tekken Bowl Tournament was a fully fleshed out, brand new game mode that unlocked after the player beat the game 10 times with any character or characters. Rather than a simple point-and-click approach, Tekken's bowling mechanic makes the player control 3 different factors of their roll: the initial launch angle, spin rate, and power. In typical modern fashion, Tekken Bowl was brought back in 2017 as paid DLC to Tekken 7. While the gameplay on Tekken 7's bowling remains rewarding, and the new graphics are inarguably super badass and cute, the biggest part of the charm of Tekken's bowling was unlocking it for free after putting so much time into the fighting portion of the game. Making us pay for it up front kinda just defeats the purpose. Number 2. Golf in Yakuza games. There are things about the sport of golf that Yakuza understands better than PGA Tour 2K21, such as the ability to spin the ball with your wedges. And that's not to take a shot at PGA Tour, which I like a lot. It's just kinda true. Yakuza's golf minigame is almost worth the price of admission itself. A perfectly acceptable arcade-style 3-click swing virtual golf experience. It's basically like a serious version of Mario Golf. Yakuza 3 is particularly clever with how they introduce golf to the player. As in the first few hours of gameplay, after fighting dudes on top of skyscrapers, you are tasked with winning over the favor of a local politician who is an avid sports fan and golfer. And you know what they say, if you can't beat him with your fists on top of a crazy Japanese skyscraper, then beat him on the golf course. Number 1. Fishing in The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. The Zelda series has managed to take fishing, which is anything from a relaxing activity to the world's most boring sport, depending on how mean you want to be about it, and made it into a legitimately entertaining and exciting minigame, which is nothing if not impressive. The Legend of Zelda is maybe the quintessential action-adventure series in all of gaming, offering expansive landscapes full of enemies to vanquish and treasures to find, and yet numerous players have sunken hours into the various fish and ponds of Zelda lore, trying to catch lurkers, clunkers, or that fleeting drip of dopamine. Fishing is a recurring minigame in the Legend of Zelda series, with various takes on it throughout the various games, but I, for one, think that fishing and all of sports-ish minigamedom achieve perfection with Zelda: The Ocarina of Time's Fishin' Pond. But hey, I'm only one person, and just because I spent my entire youth pretend fishing on a Nintendo 64 game, that doesn't mean that everybody, or anybody else on Earth did. So, if we missed any of your favorite non-sports game sports, or if you have any ideas for our upcoming video, the best fake sports in non-sports games, please feel free to leave a comment below or holler at us over at the Operation Sports forums. We're Operation Sports, I'm Matthew Ederer, and that's going to do it for us today, but be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, like a bunch more of our videos, and unsubscribe from all of our rivals. No, just kidding, we don't really have any rivals. Except, of course, the old GamePro magazine rating guy. You know what you did. Well, this has fallen completely off the rails. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you soon. Stay safe out there.